And I'll say thank you very much, Jerry, and thank you all for coming. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you. I see some faces here that I've met in the past, and thanks for coming again, and a whole bunch of people that I'm meeting for the first time. So again, I really appreciate you making the trip. And I want to also thank, from the bottom of my heart, Gary, Cohen, and Carol for hosting this event and helping me get the equipment all over here, go to the trouble of moving, tearing down his system in his shop, bringing it here, and going to tremendous lengths to make these evenings a success. He was instrumental in getting me through the first event, which was now 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember the exact dates, but the system then was in fact similar to what we have here tonight, but in detail this is a good bit different. And then Gary can tell you all about the turntable and the other equipment here. But once again, I'm providing the preamplifier, the VRE-1C. The last time I was here, it was an earlier version of the same preamplifier, fundamentally the same ideas, but that was a completely manual system. It was that way because I had not yet found a remote volume control that I felt delivered the kind of performance I was getting from the custom-based, the Shalco switch system that I was custom building for that unit. And because this is it's a statement piece, it's my reference level preamplifier, it's the best work that I can offer, I just wasn't comfortable with making a compromise and going with an existing part or the various volume control circuits that I had experimented with as a remote control system. And nor did I really feel comfortable with putting a motor drive on the Shalco switch, although that was certainly a possibility. But it lacked a certain degree of elegance, and it also lacked balance control, which the original did not have. And I knew if I could find the right circuit design, the right volume control system, I could deliver that as well. So I kept working on that for a number of years, and finally was able to put together a system that is a switched resistor ladder arrangement, but it's somewhat different in detail than anything that I've seen previously or worked with previously. This depends on a particular reed switch instead of a conventional relay. That has much faster switching performance, and also its audible performance in the circuit is closer to what I was looking for. And rather than switching pairs of resistors, what you normally see in a switched resistor ladder arrangement, I am switching parallel groups of resistors to conjugate the values that I need to get the attenuation I'm looking for. And that was a key issue in ultimately achieving the performance that I wanted. What I had hoped to get was a design that ultimately would sound at least as good as the Shalco switch-based system that I had been using. I'm very happy to say ultimately this new system actually outperforms the Shalco switch. Not by a lot, but it is better, particularly in the high-frequency region. It's more transparent, more open. There's a greater sense of freedom or dimensionality to the soundstage while retaining all of the fundamental strengths that I liked about the original Shalco design. And of course, this allows me to do a complete microprocessor-based remote control system. And this one is designed so that the microprocessor goes to sleep between commands, so there's no clock, no nothing going on that might contaminate the performance of the analog circuitry. It also gives, I've designed it with 100 steps covering 70 dB attenuation range. And the first 10 steps and the last 10 are 1 dB, and in between they're half a dB. And then balance control, which is done in half dB increment steps. And it gives you the ability to do things like have a user adjustable trim level, so you can program offsets for each input. And so you can, if you have a phono stage and a CD player that have very different output levels, for instance, you could use that facility to match their levels. So when you switch between inputs, it's more constant. Or set a reference level that you can recall simply by pushing a button. In this case, this feature is behind what I call the home theater bypass mode. There's a button on the front panel that does that. And fundamentally, the whole idea with a home theater bypass is to simply switch the preamp into a preset level, and that allows you to use it along with a surround sound processor to run a home theater or surround sound music system to become part of that or to integrate into it. But it also is handy for doing listening tests if you want to do comparisons between inputs with matched levels, that sort of thing. So all of the circuitry, all of the fundamental design elements that were there originally are still there. The difference really is in the volume control and then the control circuitry to make all of that work. I've left literature out in the back. I think most of you have picked that up on the way in. If anyone didn't see that on the way in, there's descriptive literature about the preamplifier there that covers all of the basic design attributes. But the real bottom line is it's something that I've poured my heart and soul into for quite a few years to make it be the best that I know how to make. And for me, what that means is getting as close as possible to the sound of the original recording without any editorializing, without adding or subtracting anything. But I know some of you have some experience in doing your own design work, certainly with speakers. I know there's some speaker builders here. I don't know if any of you have experimented with building your own preamplifiers or amplifiers. But if you have, I think you'll begin to understand what a subtle and difficult problem it is. Building a preamplifier is one of the simplest things as a project that you could undertake in audio. But to make something that really truly gets out of the way and transparently allows you to connect with the sound of the original recording and make an emotional connection with the musicians, it's a very, very difficult thing. There are many good sounding preamplifiers in the world. There are not very many, very, very few, in fact, in my estimation, that really get out of the way and let the original music shine through without imposing a character of their own. So that's the goal with this, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out.